Hi, what's up, y'all? It's D, about to react to this video by Poetic Flacco. It's titled, What They Found in David's Phone Horrified Everyone in the Courtroom. People have been telling me to react to this. Apparently, this is breaking news. And they found some really disturbing things in David's phone. Maybe it's pictures of Celeste. So they really have proof that he did it. Like pictures of her after he, unalived her. But let's see what they found. This is getting crazy. Let's watch.
What prosecutors revealed they found in David's phone at his court date today made everybody in the room stomach turn. It was horrifying. This degenerate freak really murdered that little girl and thought he was never going to get caught. He thought he committed the perfect crime. He thought, there's no evidence. He cleaned up his tracks good enough.
He took pictures of it? What an idiot.
Arrested, and that's evident by how he was moving. Celeste was murdered, according to officials, back in April of 2025. I think she was murdered much longer before then, but if we're going with the official timeline, she was murdered back in April. She wasn't discovered dead until September. He had about 6 months to clean up his tracks, and he thought he did a good enough job. He wasn't officially charged with anything until April of 2026. That means that's the entire year since he murdered Celeste. Now, he knew he was under investigation since September. That means he knew he was under investigation for about 6 months. But, his arrogance didn't really allow him to think that he was going to get caught. Because when he was eventually arrested, this dude has so much evidence on his phone, not of what he did to Celeste, but of other things that you would think that if somebody knew or had expectation they was going to get arrested for something this horrific and knew their phone was going to be a pivotal part of this investigation, that they would at least clean up their phone. But this dude was so arrogant and so cocky, he didn't even bother to even touch or erase his phone or erase illegal things from his phone.
Oh, a hearing just wrapped up for singer David in his first-degree murder case.
The prosecution revealed details about disturbing digital evidence. Let's get to CBS LA's Rick Montanez with what we learned in court today. Rick, what are you hearing?
Amy, Chris, the hearing just wrapped up within the half hour here, and cameras were not allowed in court, but I can tell you that the defendant, David Burke, was in court today in shackles and wearing that orange jumpsuit. The biggest new piece of evidence revealed, prosecutors say a significant amount of child found on Burke's cell phone. We also want to point out that this all happens one day after the medical examiner's report became public. That is the report on the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The report says, or I should say the family of Rivas Hernandez is absolutely devastated to learn the gruesome details contained in that write-up. That's according to a family statement. So this report says the 14-year-old girl died of sharp force trauma, but the autopsy was difficult because of the severe decomposition of her dismembered body when it was found in the singer's abandoned Tesla last September.
He had CP on his phone like a little children? Oh, he needs the electric chair.
Officials say she died 5 months earlier in April of last year. Burke, the suspect known by his stage name David, was arrested last Thursday. On Monday, he pled not guilty to the capital murder charges. We spoke with a former federal prosecutor just a short time ago here on CBS LA Mornings about this new evidence revealed in today's hearing and the fact that David's phone, according to prosecutors, contains child
minimum.
And obviously we don't know if it's Celeste Rivas's images and videos or something else, but that is a significant offense. Obviously, it helps prosecutors prove the sex crimes, the lewd and lascivious, Penal Code Section 288. But it's also a separate crime in and of itself, and it's certainly the possibility that the feds even step into this case because they typically will prosecute these types of child cases.
Oh, he's fucking done. He is done. No matter how you slice it, I don't care how much time he ends up getting. He's done. They are going to flip him every which way in jail, however much time he gets.
Described it as
because the pedos, they have it real bad in jail.
Full of child porn. Now, am I surprised that this weirdo who's currently on trial for engaging in inappropriate activities with a 14-year-old girl and then murdering her because she was going to reveal it to the world? Am I shocked that that person has a phone full of child porn, have gigabytes of child porn? I'm not surprised at all, not one bit. Right?
Gigabyte.
I feel like what's even more surprising is that it wasn't deleted or it wasn't gone. He really thought he was safe. Like, he really thought they was never coming for him. There's no evidence more clear.
No, I think they can still get it from your phone. So all you fucking weirdos out there thinking that you could watch it and then delete it, like, I'm pretty sure they still are able to retrieve that. So he probably did delete it, but they still were able to get it. I don't think you can completely scrub your files from that, from your laptop or phone. Like, obviously you have these pedos who try to cover their tracks and try to delete stuff, especially if they feel like people are onto them. But no, they have a way of getting to that. Let's be clear.
He thought he was never going to get caught in Teflon Don. Then his neighbors complaining that he was doing too much partying. And this was happening during the investigation.
Partying.
Like, Celeste's body was found. They went to a grand jury. They was like interviewing people, trying to get a murder charge on him. And he was at his hideout home in the Hollywood Hills, partying and having a good old time while they investigating this little girl's murder.
Then today, NBC4 Investigates obtained surveillance video that appears to show the defense attorney near the police scene minutes later. This afternoon, Blair Burke returned to the home where police arrested the singer and made no comments as she left.
One neighbor actually told me that he's relieved that there was an arrest because he said that there have often been parties at this home. I asked if he's heard parties here recently. He said it's an ongoing problem. Either way, on Monday, we're expected to get our first look at David as he's expected in court in person.
That's just a wild thing to say. Like, oh, I'm glad y'all got him because I was tired of hearing the loud noise from the parties. How about I'm glad y'all got him because he's a pedo and he's disgusting and he's a horrible human being? No, I'm just glad there's going to be peace and quiet over here. Go to hell.
In downtown Los Angeles.
I'm more interested in knowing who the clout whores and monsters were that were still hanging out and partying with this dude. Because he can't party with himself.
They're all pedos.
There were parties, there were other people there. Who were the people that were still comfortable partying with this dude, knowing like he was under investigation for what he did to Celeste? Like, even if you want to say, hey, man, I didn't know that he actually murdered her. I thought it was all lies. But you knew he was still having relations with this little girl. And you were still comfortable partying. The only people who I see really comfortable partying with someone like David are people who believe they are like David, or people who have similar interests or secrets like David.
Exactly.
Which is why I believe, man, even if we can't prove that anybody at that party actually did something, man, they need to be under investigation. Like, they need to be put on a registry, man.
Exactly.
David, friends. We need to know
check their files.
So people can stay away from them, right? Because it's not like they was partying with
I know it was an Asian dude. I remember they were showing him. His photo is out there. Get him.
Before her body got discovered. No, right? These were parties that started happening after David came back to LA after going to Texas briefly to hide out. This was in the middle of the investigation. There needs to be a list of names that are part of David's entourage and his network of people. Because I'm not buying David is doing all these things alone. The same way they try to get us to buy that he murdered Celeste by himself, that Celeste came over to his house on, I think, April 23rd or 24th, and he murdered her, and then she was never to be seen again, and he's the one who did all of this by himself. I'm not buying that, bro. Especially after I seen the autopsy report and found out exactly what happened. I don't think David was able to do this himself, then hop on a plane the next day to go and party and have an album roll out and start his tour, and nobody was there to help him either hide his body, chop up his body, dismember his body, and hide it for him. I don't think David, who was on an active tour, was actively hiding and moving Celeste's body all across Los Angeles County, bro.
Received the autopsy report from the medical examiner in Celeste Rivas's death, for which David is now charged with her murder. And there are some interesting things, and we talked about this before, that we knew that the coroner had ruled this, the medical examiner ruled this a homicide, but we didn't know the cause of death. And the DA said they were stabbed, there was some kind of sharp instrument was used. Now we know, and what they're saying is there were two wounds in particular, and that they believe, and they use the word may, and the word may is going to be really important, which we'll talk about, that they may be penetrating wounds, which would not be wounds to dismember a body.
Right, because of where they are, they believe, is I think the main, and also
and the way they describe it is they describe two penetrating wounds, one on the abdomen and one on the chest, and they describe them as, they tell you the depth and the length of these, and they say they have smooth edges. The indication seems to me that some sort of knife was plunged into her, and it left smooth edges.
The key is the length of the wounds. One is 3/4 of an inch, one is 9/16. So that this size wound has the penetrative wound. These are
which
not
is an indication of the length of the blade.
It's also a blade that could not dismember a body, right? This would not be the same instrument used to dismember the body.
Now, the body was dismembered. They describe all that in detail, but those types of cuts to take the body apart would be different than
does the report say anything about the dismemberment or what they believe was used?
They don't say what was used.
Just describe it in a lot of detail.
It's gruesome.
Yeah.
I don't know what your religion is, but this case is proof that some of us didn't come from heaven. That we gotta give that up, man. I don't think God had created all of us, man.
I can't take any more of this. This is just so evil. I hope they get him for every charge possible. I'm sure they will. And honestly, at this point, it's like, should he even get lethal injection? No, I think he should rot in jail for as long as possible and have people in there torture him like he tortured this little girl. Because this is so messed up. Y'all let me know what y'all think, though, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.